the show last week on our gambling show?
You mean our picks?
Yeah, how'd we do?
We all were winners last week.
We all were winners. All of us are in the positive start
we
the season.
All in the positive start the season, and the pit crew took the lead on all of us. Now, you had a big pick with your Tyler Reddick top three, but
my theory. Listen, I tell you, I picked a bunch of them. I got one of them to go through to the final.
That's all you needed there.
That's right.
But if you listened to us last week, could have made a little bit of money. Just saying.
All three of us. Pit crew, you and me. Right. All three of us.
All three of us. So, but the big winner at Daytona was William Byron. The Daytona 500 never seems to disappoint, other than having a little rain delay, of course.
Yeah, but under the lights, super cool to watch it under the lights.
Finishing under the lights. William Byron, it's almost like they hardly ever mentioned his name the whole race. But you know what? Number one, he stays out of trouble. And number two, he puts himself in position to win.
Last year, we talked at the beginning of the season, William Byron was the hottest guy to start the season, right? And what did he do this year? He comes out, back-to-back winner, first time since Denny Hamlin, back-to-back winner at Daytona. So he's locked himself in. He's there. I mean, hell of a race. I mean, but want to talk about, forget about the gambling side of it. Hell of a race. Gambling side, yeah. You and I were texting during the race. I had the field bet looking good for a minute because Corey LaJoie was winning with like 10 to go, and Jimmy was,
Jimmy gets a top three out of it.
But he was in the field too for the, to the race. I was like, hey, I had the field bet running. As a gambler, you had a roller coaster of emotions coming down the stretch.
Well, there's probably no other racetrack other than maybe Talladega on the circuit as a gambler that you do not start counting your coins until the thing is over.
Don't tear the ticket up. And don't cash it until the race is over.
And that was I think that was one of the storylines that came out of the Daytona race is some of the big wrecks, and especially on the last lap. And I know there was, like, for example, I know Denny Hamlin, one on his podcast, he was pretty frustrated with the way things went. But it is, I know people want to say, well, why is it the nature of the racing? It is the nature of the racing.
It's the nature of that race. And look, Ryan Preece has had two bad flips now. That one wasn't as bad as the one he had, of course, last year, but still two bad flips. And I get it, but here's the deal. That's the nature of the racing. It puts on great racing, and we're race car drivers. Guess what? Suck it up. I mean, I did it for years. I loved those races. That's what you do.
And you got upside down at Talladega.
But I stuck my landing. But it's still, I know that you can say it's not, people go, it's not racing. Yes, it is. It's fantastic racing. I was sitting there watching it. I was up in Colorado watching that on the edge of my seat going, oh my God, I am so glad I'm retired but it puts on a hell of a race. The fans love it. It's where NASCAR has done another great job. They paved the whole back straightaway, so that way Alex Bowman's little deal was just a spin and tap of a wall in practice. Or in the duels. They've done everything they can. We're as safe as we can be, but it's still race car driving. Things can happen. I think that it puts on a hell of a race. The package puts on a hell of a race. It's a great show.
Well, and the safety improvements that they made is the reason that Ryan Preece can have a crash like that and climb out on his own and walk and get in the ambulance, and the very next day put a picture of his new fire suit on social media that was an astronaut's outfit, which I don't know if anybody saw that, but it was quite clever, I thought. So it was very good timing. But speaking of the race,
let's get to the important stuff that we talk about, the numbers, the money.
How much did people have a chance to win here? So William Byron was 16-1, which is pretty amazing to think that the guy who won the race last year was 16-1. His top three odds were plus 450. And he beat Chris Buescher head up, even money, and then he was actually the favorite at minus 110 over Austin Cindric and Chase Elliott. By the way, somebody had him in that Chris Buescher head up.
Yes, they did.
And he also won Group B at plus 270. Somebody else sitting here had that one as well.
There you go.
And then he brought Chevy home at plus 135. So a great return, really, on William Byron, especially for the odds to win and the top three.
Yeah, no, and that's he had a lot of money to return. He did a great job. If you had picked the Chevy groups like I talked about, when we talk about how to pick those things, he could have done a hell of a job. And when you get to the overall, the top 10, Jeff, another great return on investment for all three guys in the top 10.
Oh, no question about it. Just looking at that top 10, Tyler Reddick, sort of another guy who kind of came through when the smoke cleared. The announcers were saying Nemechek at first because the paint schemes were very similar. Tyler Reddick, a plus 650, and Jimmy Johnson. We just mentioned Jimmy. He's not going to run that many races this year. He's really becoming more of a full-time team owner now that his role at Legacy Motor Club.
The rain delay.
But at 15-1, getting a top three. And then some other drivers there. Chase Briscoe, who had to come all the way from the back early on, to come through there and get a top 5. We're going to talk about him a little bit more here in a moment. John Hunter Nemechek.
Good top 5 for Jimmy's team. 2 top 5s. Legacy
two top
Motorsports.
5s. Legacy Motor Club right there. And then some other drivers. Alex Bowman, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, not really a surprise. How about Justin Allgaier in a one-off deal for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and JR Motorsports to get a top 10?
I'm a huge fan of Little Gator. I mean, he ain't Little Gator. He's been here too long now. We can't really call him that, but he is absolutely such a wonderful human being. Our current Xfinity Series champion, which, that's I love saying that. And he goes out there, Junior Motors. I don't care if it's Junior Motorsports' first Cup race. I just love that Justin Allgaier did a great job getting that top 10, doing what he needed to do, hanging out, waiting for the time, running well, being there at the end. Good job, Justin.
Well, and to give him even a little bit more credit is, he had to really, really work hard to get into this race. Yep. He didn't have an automatic qualifying spot. Then he wasn't one of the 2 fastest non-automatic qualifiers in qualifying.
Yeah, don't remind us.
Well, yeah, I know your car didn't have the same fate, but I think were you in the same race?
Nope, we were in the second one and had the lead, and I still don't know when Corey LaJoie pitted, but.
I was trying to figure that out too.
I was like,
I didn't understand how, because I thght you guys pitted on a good strategy.
We were in the lead.
The next thing I knew, LaJoie was in front of you, and I couldn't figure out how that happened.
I had the same thing.
Okay, well,
let's talk about the schedule.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get to the schedule, we did just mention Chase Briscoe.
Yes.
And he got a 4th place finish, which actually stands, but his points are now gone. So
minus 65.
I guess that's where he would be.
Minus
65. So he lost 100 points, including 10 playoff points, a $100,000 fine, which is probably the least of their worries, and his crew chief suspended for 4 races because they messed with the spoiler. Now, you got any insight into what first off, they know if they do something wrong these days, they're going to get caught. So
Gibbs is appealing. But basically the holes,
those don't usually go very
oblong.
Those don't usually last. Those appeals are not very successful.
Look, it's. I'm not going to say I know what he did, but maybe something that other people also have tried in the past. They oblonged the holes. They got caught. No big deal.
So I think it turns out to be a big deal.
Here's what I said.
The playoff points are a bigger deal than
this is what I said to you earlier, though, on the text. If he wins the 100 point, doesn't matter. What does matter is the 10 playoff points, because now he's got to win twice to make up those bonus points that he's missed or get a whole bunch of stage wins. So the playoff point's a big deal. Losing the crew chief, you've heard me talk about this last couple of years, Jeff. With the war rooms and the way we do these things now, losing the crew chief doesn't mean as much anymore as it used to. Losing the 100 points, you and I both expect Chase Briscoe to win multiple races this year, so I don't expect that to be a problem. The 10 bonus points, that's what's going to hurt him.
No, I completely agree with you. I think that's one. And I think we've seen that with, drivers that have made it into the playoffs, but haven't won a lot of races or won a lot of stages. And we've always said, if you don't have some playoff points, when you get into the playoffs.
We've talked about the last couple of years. It's mattered both positive and negative for people.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's take a look at our schedule coming up. This weekend, I'm not going to say it's just like Daytona, but there's going to be some similarities to Daytona with the config. It's not even a new configuration on Atlanta now.
This is wild.
Yeah, this is our 4th season and the 7th race at Atlanta under this new configuration where we're headed this week. It's going to be a little bit cool on Sunday in the 50s, which is cool for Atlanta.
It'll be fast.
Probably for this time of year, but the track will be fast. And then we're going to go and turn left and right down to Austin and run Circuit of the Americas, the earliest that race has ever been run.
Earliest I can remember a road course ever. I mean, maybe since the Riverside days.
Well, other than the year during COVID, I think we had to run Daytona, the road course, the second week or something because of Fontana.
That's right.
Couldn't run in California. Then we're going to go come out to the desert. We're going to hit Phoenix first. Now, normally we go Las Vegas and then we go to Phoenix. But we're going to do Phoenix. Then we're going to come here to Las Vegas and then back across the country to Miami. Homestead, that's that. I tell you now, if you're the hauler drivers are going to be the MVPs here, right?
I talked to Fat Boy just the other day, and he was like 2,940 miles, and I laughed because Fat Boy and his directions are somewhat of a struggle, and I just reminded him that don't go through Colorado to get to Florida. But yeah, that's a heck of a haul to go from Las Vegas, which is now your furthest west race.
Well, Sonoma.
Oh, that's right. You saw Sonoma. But second furthest, right? All the way down to the longest spot. I mean, the only thing that might be worse is if we went from Vegas to New Hampshire.
Well, but I got to believe these truck drivers, are they not? They're going to probably go to Austin, then back to Charlotte, because then they're going to come west. Now, they will probably just go from Phoenix to Vegas. They'll have a truck that'll come out and meet them, but then back to Charlotte from Vegas and then down to Miami.
They may do a crossload. They may have another truck meet them.
But I would imagine from Vegas they will go back to Charlotte. But either way, it's certainly a lot of miles.
It's a lot of miles.
But this weekend it's Atlanta, and this is going to be our 7th race at this track since the track was reconfigured. Now this track's been around for quite some time. Couple of drivers, Joey Logano and William Byron, have certainly been the class of the field. But last year we saw the greatest finish in NASCAR history.
And 2 drivers stick out on this chart. If you're watching on the Gaughan Racing YouTube channel, is Ryan Blaney 5 top 10s in 6 races, and Daniel Suarez 5 top 10s in 6 races, 4 top 5s.
And the 2 of them finished by .0004.
Closest race in NASCAR history.
And Kyle Busch was 3rd at .0007.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal race last year, but a lot of guys here have liked this. Kyle Busch, 4 top 10s in 6 races. So, I mean, this, even though it's that new track, this is that hybrid now Atlanta, which I think I've told you the last couple of years. The main reason I am glad I'm retired is when I watch the Atlanta race and go, oh my God, I am so glad I'm retired watching this now.
Well, and one thing people need to be reminded about when they're watching this, at Daytona and Talladega, sometimes you can set that guy up for the pass on the last lap. But this track's only 1.5 miles, running the same speeds they're running at Daytona and Talladega. If you wait till the last lap, it may be too late in Atlanta.
Well, look, we've had amazing finishes there multiple times. Of course, the closest one in NASCAR history, and some guys really, really good here. So, I mean, this is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be as tough to handicap as Daytona Talladega, but it is a difficult one to handicap.
All right, we'll be back on Gaughan Racing here in just a couple of minutes, and we'll start breaking down the odds to win and the odds to finish top 3 at Atlanta.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back into Gaughan Racing. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan here at the South Point, talking all things Atlanta this weekend.
I love Ann. I absolutely love our crew. The pit crew is absolutely wonderful.
And now she can go on camera, and she's got this great branding behind her. I mean, there's a wall back there now.
What you see behind her now is the South Point, like a step and repeat.
Right,
but you got to see the other side, because there's a dead sexy panel over there of 2 guys that.
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed that there's not been like an SCC filing or FCC filing.
I'm just happy we only took 1 panel. It didn't take 2 for us.
Because I lost all that weight last year.
You and I have lost some weight, so we're looking good. We only fit on 1 panel.
All right, more salads, less cheeseburgers. I got us on 1 panel. There you go.
All right. Professionally unprofessional.
Yeah, we are. All right, so we're off to Atlanta. We made a big change to the track down there about 4 years ago. What do you think about the way the way this race runs now? The restrictor plates, no restrictor plates.
It is a super speedway race now. The old Atlanta, the pavement that we all love, that we argued for years with SMI and used to scream and yell, please, please, please don't repave. Totally different track.
Despite the potholes that were already out there.
I didn't care about the potholes. It was that the old track, the old surface was phenomenal. But once you repaved, and it was repaved with this intention. Remember, you guys, you as a company, not Vegas, but your,
right.
the master company, said they wanted to try to come up with this. And they did. And it's been successful, really, in my eyes. But when I go back, remember, I'm the stat guy, right? I'm going to be the guy that goes back and forth. And I still don't put Atlanta in the same boat as Daytona, Talladega. I don't look and say, okay, William Byron last week won at Daytona, which is a super speedway. That means I love him at Atlanta.
But he has won twice here in this new configuration.
But what I'm meaning is that I don't really take the correlation that similar, because this track, to be able to hold wide open in Atlanta, I've talked to the boys, is absolutely frightening. I talked to Austin Dillon this morning because one of the
turns are tighter.
Turns are
and the track is narrower,
way tighter, way narrower. But another thing that you can't overlook is pit road speed into turn 3 is 90 miles an hour. Don't overlook that, because it's not easy to do 90 on that apron. If you have a green flag pit stop, it's that separates men from boys.
And you still got to be down to what, 45 or 55 by the commitment line?
55 by turn 4. But remember, you have to come off in turn 3.
Right.
So you got to do 90 around that apron. This track, not like Daytona, Talladega. When I pull up my stats, I do not pull up Daytona, Talladega for this. I just pull up Atlanta for 6 years.
And 6 races. That's all we got.
Races.
You're right. So, all right, let's take a look at our odds to win this week. And Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, the Penske teammates, come in as the favorites at 10-1. Kyle Busch is 12-1. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski, and Austin Cindric at 15. Chris Buescher, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, and Daniel Suarez. Throw a blanket. It's a big blanket, a quilt over them, I guess, if you will. They're all 20-1. William Byron, 20-1. Chase Elliott, 20-1.
Okay, I know that we have one Maiulo on the pit crew here. The other of the Maiulo family is behind the sports book. I think I need to call him back into the office. He was just here. I either need to grab him, Chris, or Jimmy. I don't care who. Hi, William Byron, won twice here in 6 races in this format, is 20-1, and he just won last week. Even though I'm saying they don't totally coincide, hey, somebody's riding a hot streak on these tracks. You might want to take him less than 20-1.
Well, and I'm looking, and I know I
might pick a winner today just because of that.
Well, and I know that, you kind of talked about you don't really want to compare so much Daytona, but I do think there are some comparisons here. I see Tyler Reddick, who was solid all last week. He finished 2nd. He's 20-1. Chase Briscoe, he finished 4th on the racetrack. He's 20-1. Of the guys that are, basically the 3 best finishers in that race that are running this week are all at 20-1 to win. Gosh, I'm thinking I would not be surprised to see any of the 3 of them find their way into victory lane.
This one, I don't feel like, again, not like Daytona, Talladega, where we call it the crapshoot, where we feel like, the Beard Motorsports team can show up. This track is not that way.
But we did see Corey LaJoie almost win here a couple of years ago.
We saw
but
Corey
has also proven himself on these type racetracks.
Corey is not a slouch at these places, and it isn't random that he would be there. But you look at that, there are some numbers here that, hell, Ryan Blaney 10-1 is still a great number. It's double digit.
It's almost like go pick 8 guys, and if you get one of those 8 right, you're going to make money, right?
The odds are high enough, and we just talked about Kyle Busch, 4 top 10s. He's 12-1,
and was part of that finish last year.
And did we even mention Daniel Suarez? Was he even listed?
Yeah, he's one of the 20-1s.
Oh, he's 21. There he is. I was trying at the very bottom page.
There are 9 guys at 20-1.
Look, I think that instead of picking top 3s this week, I might try to pick, Daniel Suarez, 4 top 5s. He's 20-1. He's there every time.
Well, let's look at a few of our longer shots, and those, honestly, even the favorites are almost long shots with the numbers we've got this week. Ty Gibbs is 25-1. Alex Bowman is 30. Eric Jones, Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell, all at 40. Josh Berry, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Justin Haley, Todd Gilliland, and A.J. Allmendinger at 50. Noah Gregson, Riley Herbst, Austin Dillon, Cole Custer, Carson Hocevar at 75. And a field bet, and I'm not even sure exactly this week. I guess Shane Van Gisbergen is one that jumps out. It's in the 20-1. John Hunter Nemechek. Guy had a top 5 last week. I don't see him up there. He's in the field this week at 20-1.
It looks like there's only 4 or 5 drivers in the field, so not quite like Daytona where I'm going to take that bet. But I'm going to look at that right off the bat. And, Austin Dillon, a guy that does great at super speedway races, there he is sitting there with, now, once again, how I say they don't coincide. Austin Dillon, 6 races, 0 top 10s, average finish 25.5. So maybe not the track for Austin, but Alex Bowman, still one you can talk about that does great at these places. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., is Ricky a guy here? 2 top 10s, 6 races. There's a guy that always does great at these places. How about Michael McDowell? 6 races, 2 top 10s, 1 top 5. So 40-1, you got some guys that, I wouldn't maybe pick them to win, but maybe on a top 3, talk about them. That first page really intrigues me, though, for the win.
Well, and if your manufacturers actually stick together, I mean, talk about, we didn't bring up Riley Herbst, who was running third, taking the white flag last week at Daytona, and he was really doing a good job sticking with his teammates, kind of got shuffled out there.
75-1?
He's up there at 75-1. All right, let's move along to our top 3s, and those numbers come down dramatically, obviously. Ryan Blaney is atop of the board here at plus 250, Joey Logano at 260, Kyle Busch and Austin Cindric at 350, Chase Elliott, William Byron at 400, Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski are 450, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez at 500, Christopher Bell at 550, Chris Buescher and Bubba Wallace at 600, Ross Chastain and Chase Briscoe at 650, and Tyler Reddick plus 700 for a top 3. You want to do that again this week, Brendan?
I don't know if I'm going to take Tyler Reddick, but I like that Daniel Suarez at plus 500. I mean, I really, really honed in on that. I do also think Chase Briscoe might be a good choice way down on that. There's some great ones there. I mean, once again, you talk about Daniel Suarez, 5 top 5s in 6 races, or top 10s, 4 top 5s in 6 races. That's a guy that screams to me, bet me right there. And I do, Ross Chastain even, Ross has 2 top 5s in 6 races here. Average finish of 12. He was there a couple different times. It's not a bad bet, some of those guys. Tyler Reddick, I'm not against it though. We've been high on Tyler Reddick on the show the last couple of years, and I don't see that changing this year.
Well, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys up there certainly have great potential, and we hadn't even brought up Denny Hamlin, who we know Denny runs well on fast racetracks. He's okay running in packs. And look, he had a chance to win the 500 last week.
8.6 average finish in the 6 races here.
That's pretty solid.
That's pretty solid.
I would say. All right, let's look at our longer shots here. Ty Gibbs. Actually, am I looking at the wrong sheet? I think I got a different screen up there. I need to move on here.
I'll get you for you.
Yep.
Ty Gibbs, you got Alex Bowman plus 700, Ty Gibbs 850, Todd Gillen, Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell at 11, Ricky Stenhouse, Eric Jones 12, Justin Haley, Josh Berry, Corey LaJoie, AJ Allmendinger all at 14, and then Riley, Noah, Cole, Austin Dillon, and Ty Dillon 20-1, 22-1. So, but let's take the same thing right there. We just talked Ty Gibbs and Alex Bowman, Gibbs and Hendrick, for just the race team itself for a top 3 at 850 and 700. Those are 2 great numbers on 2. Alex Bowman, I know what you picked him to be a disappointment, but he's still Hendrick Motorsports, 2 top 10s, 1 top 5 in the 6 races.
Yeah, and the guys that it kind of intrigue me sometimes, a guy like Michael McDowell, a guy like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse, look, I don't know where you stand on the Logano Stenhouse incident last week. I don't know if, I'm not sure who you blame there. I mean, I think there's probably enough blame to go around on everyone there.
There's a little bit of blame on both, but Ricky couldn't hold it pretty well.
Ricky's pretty good on these racetracks, so I think there's a guy that's got a pretty good number by him.
Ty Gibbs has 2 top 10s in 4 races in his 4 attempts here. And again, how about, Ty Dillon looked pretty good last week coming back into his Cup debut. So, I mean, there's guys, and Corey LaJoie. We talked about Corey a second ago. Corey's got 2 top 5s in 6 races here. 2 top 5s, 6 races, 14-1.
And that's it's 14-1. So there you go. And I think he's in the field for the odds to win.
He was in the field for the odds to win.
All right, let's take a real quick look. This is going to be another week where our head-to-heads are not great. We've only got one driver with 2 matchups that's in a plus situation, and that's Kyle Busch is plus 105 to Ryan Blaney's minus 125, and also plus 105 to Joey Logano's minus 125. Everything else is minus 110s across the board. Is it worth taking a look at Kyle there on either one of those?
Here's the only reason I look at that. Let's talk about Kyle Busch at 105 to Joey Logano's minus 125. You're giving me Kyle Busch, who we talked about his stats right here, against Joey Logano. 2 wins, 2 top 5s, which means the 2 wins were 2 top 5s. Average finish, if I go to Joey, 13.7.
But he's got 2 wins.
But he's got 2 of them wins, 13.7, which means that takes that down. Where Kyle Busch has 4 top 10s, average finish 13. Take those 2 wins out. I don't dislike. Look, last year in our pool, I nickel and dimed you guys to death, right? I picked a lot of head-to-heads. You picked one last week, got a good solid win. It cashes a ticket. 105 versus Joey Logano. I don't dislike that. Kyle has come out pretty strong. He's making a lot of noise. So I don't dislike the Kyle Busch 105. The rest of them, absolutely as boring as it is. Every restrictor plate race, hard to say anything. Would I go against Ryan Blaney? No, I would not take Kyle Busch 105 against Ryan Blaney.
Well, we talked earlier. Those are the 2 that came in second and third to Suarez last year
race.
On this exact race, coming right down to the finish line.
But 5 top 10s in 6 races for Blaney. He's super good here at this new track.
Right, and we know how hungry Kyle Busch is.
He's hungry right now.
He's very hungry, but he feels confident and comfortable going to a place like Atlanta. So that could work in his favor. So we'll see how it goes this week. Okay, we come back on Gaughan Racing. We will start getting into our group matchups for what we think is going to be a great weekend at Atlanta.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Welcome back into Gaughan Racing. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan, talking all things Atlanta this weekend, Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Can I say that might have been the most boring count-in I think that Ann has ever given?
But she was yawning while she counted us in.
That was like either really professional or just like very subdued.
I mean,
like that was almost professional.
It's giving me a complex that our show is terrible this week, that she's yawning through the show now. Is she finding it boring?
I don't know.
Is that it?
No,
she's not
it
bored?
is interesting because we're later in the day. So this is that,
So,
the lunch, little
after lunch.
We used to record the show at 10, 11 o'clock
We're
in the
still
morning.
doing it Thursday. So for those at home, once again, we always say, don't forget, you might wait till after qualifying. Maybe some of these things. You find something big, take it. Yeah, you want to, sometimes we make a bet and we find out the guy's going to start from the back and we go, hell, that sucks. So
and especially on a road course and a short track.
Yeah. So, I mean, just remember, we do this very early. And the fact that we do it as well as we do this early, I'm just saying, we had old handicappers that were experts that didn't want to come on with us because they were so upset we were doing it so early.
And we both have rotator cuff injuries from patting ourselves on the back.
Well, especially me from last year, I'm just saying.
Well, of course, you're banged up today anyway. By the way,
it's just a calf. I got another one.
Playing hurt, yeah.
I got two.
That's what happens when you start snow skiing.
As good as I don't start. I've been doing it for 47 years, okay? Yeah. I've been snow skiing my whole life.
So you started when you were 2?
Yeah, started when I was 2.
Well, that's pretty
I started
impressive.
my boys at 14 months old.
Well, that's pretty impressive. Just letting everybody know it's going to be Brendan's 50th this year, so so we can.
No,
we're going to have a big party.
No recollection of such a thing.
And I'm sure if you go to
I will make sure that I absolutely am missing.
And I would imagine if you go to Wikipedia,
I will be like, if you don't, I can't make those weeks.
You don't know when his birthday is. I'm sure it's on Wikipedia somewhere. You can look.
Can we get to Group A, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
And our co-favorites, our teammates in Group A, Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano, plus 245, Kyle Busch, plus 285, and a pretty large number on Denny Hamlin at plus 300.
Enticement. I mean, it's Denny Hamlin. Man, I don't know.
But he has really not been on fire at this new configuration.
No, I'm
at
trying
Atlanta.
to go down and find. I mean, I said it a second ago, and I can't remember what I said. But go figure. Me, I can't remember what I said. Hit my head a lot. Denny Hamlin, 20.2 average finish, only one top 10 in 6 races. So that 300 is not enticement enough to go up against, in my eyes, Ryan Blaney, who we've talked so much about on the show, Kyle Busch, who we've talked so much about already, and even Logano. Kyle Busch, 285, little enticement. I think that's a pretty stellar number in Group A against 2 tough cookies.
Well, to be honest with you, I could see them putting a plus 215 on Ryan Blaney. So to me, even Blaney being the co-favorite here at plus 245,
it's a good number.
I actually do. I like that number on Ryan Blaney.
Dislike it.
I know this is. I know we talked about this is kind of not a total crapshoot, but a little bit of a crapshoot in Atlanta.
There's a little crapshoot in it, but it's still.
But when a guy has finished
5 out of 6
up there at the top, and we know how close he came to winning last year. He's hungry. I love Ryan Blaney there.
I don't that's the problem is I don't dislike at least 2, almost a third with an asterisk. So it's a tough group for me to bet.
Now Group B, I got a strong opinion in Group B, but I'll read the odds first. So we've got 3 co-favorites, Christopher Bell, Austin Cindric, and Brad Keselowski, all at plus 260. And then William Byron comes in as the long shot at plus 290.
That long shot I like a lot. But I will warn you, Austin Cindric has 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s, and 6 races, average finish of 12.0, where William Byron has an average finish of 15 with 3, 2, but the 2 wins. So if you take those 2 wins, that moves that average way down, and he's got an average finish of 15, where Austin Cindric has an average finish of 12 with 2 top 5s.
If you've got 2 wins and an average finish of 15, that's probably a checkers or wreckers type mentality coming in there. Look, now granted, Byron's pretty much running a practice session for later on in the year now because he's got that win already at Daytona. But I'm just telling you, you can give me William Byron at plus 290 in a Group B. And look, I rode the Byron horse last week. I only got 2 picks right last week. William Byron won both of them for me last week. He won his group. He won his head-to-head.
I'll give you some of that.
And I am also very bullish on William Byron early in the seasons. Now, he sometimes has tended to peter out toward the latter part of the season, but
started out as early favorite for championships both seasons.
Always comes out like a house on fire.
Nope.
And I think that this is a good opportunity for him to add to his
Seabell has 2 top 5s at an average finish of 17. But there's something about that Cindric. Something about Cindric to me. Even if you take out it's 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. Something about Cindric right now, though.
Well,
won the duel. I know it's just Daytona, but 3rd, 11th, 12th, 4th, and 10th. Just something about Cindric to me. And
in Cindric, I can say, and you mentioned Bell and we mentioned Hamlin in Group A. This track has not been really good to the Toyotas. I mean, when you look at the wins here, you've got, 2 Ford wins, you got 4 Chevy wins in these 6 races on this configuration. The 3 cars that came across the line last year went Chevy, Ford, Chevy. So, Bell, Hamlin, I think that's kind of why I'm staying away from those guys. Toyota's got to prove something to me.
But Byron at the dog 290, that could be kind of that's a good number for the dog.
Right.
I mean, I do like that.
All right, let's look at our Group C. We got co-favorites at the top here. Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott both at plus 265. Chase Briscoe and Chris Buescher at plus 270.
I'm so bummed I'm not seeing Westgate give me a Daniel Suarez group matchup. I'm really bummed about that, and we haven't got to one so far, and I don't think we have one the rest.
Just to stick it to you.
They said, because I was hoping that somebody at the Westgate would be asleep at the wheel and get a Daniel Suarez like 315 in a group, and I'd be like, aha.
No, there was somebody sitting over there saying, we know Brendan Gaughan wants Daniel Suarez. We're not going to give it to him.
This one to me, I look at this and I go, okay, Chase Elliott only has 5 data points but he's got an average finish of 8.6 in this. 3 top 10s, 1 win with 3 top 10s. I kind of look at that and go, ooh, Chase Elliott, home crowd at 8.6, the 3rd best average finish at this track. That's tough for me to go against, especially when I'm looking down. I mean, for me to find Chris Buescher, for me to find anybody else, I've got to do some scrolling before I get to them on those average finish numbers. And Chris Buescher, average finish of 22. Chase Briscoe, I'm really high on Chase Briscoe. Talked about it, but average finish of 24. Kyle Larson, not anywhere near that average finish. Kyle Larson, where I got my man Kyle. Ooh, hey, way down there, 29.8. Ooh, I got my lock. I found my lock. I found.
Well,
let me. Hey, YouTube channel thingy. That thingy. I'm circling right now.
YouTube channel. What?
The Gaughan Racin thingy that we do. The podcast.
Thingy.
Yeah, Sirius XM. We got Sirius XM, but
what do you think? We got a telestrator or something?
They can't see me making a circle on Sirius XM. So
are we going to get a telestrator? We got these fancy screens now on ours.
Ooh, we got screens.
Put the telestrator.
We'll
put a telestrator on
do
here.
Stuff with them.
That is scary.
I'm looking back, they're all shaped like
that is really
Jerry
scary
right now.
To think,
can't even look at me.
No.
Okay, never mind.
Hey, look, we give Brendan a microphone. We do not need to give him a telestrating
Give me
pen
a telestrator.
as well.
Oh, we could have some fun. That'd be great on YouTube TV, wouldn't it? On the Gaughan Racing channel.
Yeah, except till you and I are drawing pictures on each other over here or something.
Mustaches.
So, mustaches. There we go.
I like the lock. Chase Elliott. I'm locking that in.
Well, and I think I learned my lesson last week in picking Kyle Larson in a low group at a track that they run in packs. I'm good with that. But I also think that Chris Buescher and Chase Briscoe could be there. Although, again, I'm kind of down on the Toyotas right now, just on these type tracks. I mean, the Toyota's going to be strong, but these type tracks, Atlanta especially, they got a little bit of something to prove. All right, let's take a look at Group D. We have 3 guys at the top here. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and Ross Chastain are all at plus 265, and Tyler Gibbs at plus 275.
Tyler Gibbs. I like that. Tyler Gibbs.
Did I say Tyler? Ty Gibbs?
right.
Tyler? Well, he's probably Tyler.
Yeah,
Call him Ty.
Be.
We got enough Tylers and Ties out there.
Maybe he doesn't like Chuck. Call him Charles. Anybody can name that movie? I'll give him $5. I'll wait to the end of the show. Here's the deal. Bubba Wallace has been great at these type of places. Not so much here. 1 top 5 in 6 races. Tyler Reddick is one of the hottest guys in the sport. But the guy, statistically, if you look at this matchup, the guy statistically has a massive, massive favorite is Ross Chastain.
And what's he driving? And what are the other 3 driving?
Oh, Toyota. Oh, there you go. So there's your theory. You found your lock, I take it.
Potentially. I don't know if I'm going to go to lock, but it certainly has potential.
No, I don't dislike it. I mean, Ross Chastain has the best average finish here. 2 top 10s, 3 top 5s, average finish of 12. The other guys are nowhere near that. Like I said, Bubba Wallace is 18.8. Ty Gibbs, I got to scroll. He's only got 4 data points. Average finish 17.5. 2 top 10s. I think that is a really good pick right there. And even Tyler Reddick, I said earlier, 6 races, 1 top 5, average finish 20.8. So Ross Chastain odds say Ross Chastain 265, good bet right there.
Well, and Bubba is a good speedway racer. We do know that.
Yes, he is.
I do like Chastain there as well. All right, let's take a look at Group E. Eric Jones and Ryan Preece are plus 260. Michael McDowell is plus 265, and Josh Berry plus 285.
This one is interesting. All names that we don't really, almost like a Group F sometimes, right? I mean, but this is kind of Eric Jones just has not got off the schneid yet. That Legacy Motor Club with 2 top 5s last week.
He was running well. He got caught up in somebody else's mess.
But that, you got Preece at 260 and Preece with all the stuff. Michael McDowell, the new team. Josh Berry, new team. This is a very difficult one to handicap.
Eric Jones is the only one of those guys that's not with a new team up there.
New team. You got Ford, Toyota. So on your Toyota thing, he's, that's there. I don't know. I'm torn on this one.
I kind of look at this Group E, I think, and this might be the group where I'm just like, I'm throwing up the X on, because I don't really see anything in this group that really differentiates. Now, I think Michael McDowell is the best speedway racer.
I mean, if I'm going statistically, Michael McDowell is a hands and feet above on the average finish. So McDowell on stats, he's 11th best point getter, 2 top 10s, 1 top 5. Eric Jones, Well, not even that much better. I mean, Eric Jones is right there with him. 2 top 10s, 1 top 5. So it's not as big of a stat as I thought with McDowell to Jones. This is my ex.
We got a little time. We won't get into the next group because we're going to go to break here in 30 seconds. But any hangover for Ryan Preece from that crash last week? Does that play into it?
I don't know how bad he got. Like, look, the one he had last year. Remember the eyes and the picture? I mean, phenomenal. Toughest dude I ever met. That wreck to me, maybe to him, where it's like, brush that one off. I'm walking away unscathed. I don't know. To me, as a race car driver, I was always able to get over those things fast.
Okay, fair enough. From an expert who's been upside down before. So, okay, we come back on our final segment. We have our last group, manufacturer props. We'll give you our picks.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone. And if you're craving a taste of Italy, come experience delicious Italian cuisine and the attentive service at Don Vito's. Our culinary team starts with the freshest ingredients and transforms them into traditional favorites. And don't forget Italian desserts. Don Vito's. Savor the taste of Italy. Finally, if sushi is more your style, join us at the popular Zenshin Asian restaurant and sushi bar, where we're serving up the freshest sashimi, nigiri, and sushi rolls. And beyond the sushi, an exciting contemporary Asian cuisine menu. Plus a variety of specialty drinks, Japanese and domestic beer, wine, and sake. Balance your hunger with Zenshin.
That's a little more like it.
Welcome back into the final segment of Gaughan Racing this week, talking Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend. Brendan and his personal grooming habits over here off camera.
Does the Gaughan Racing YouTube channel, does it air even when we're in commercial, or it goes to commercial?
I hope it goes to commercial. Yeah, yeah. See, we're getting these advertisements for
I just didn't know if they
could
still see us and hear Ann's great comebacks on her count ins, or the guys behind the booth started laughing really bad right before there, and I thought, like, I was like, do I got a hanger? Do I like?
No, but I think we get fired if they ran through the brakes.
It'd take a lot to fire us.
Well, that's a good point. That's probably a good point. Good point. Okay.
It's not VEASAN anymore. It'd take a lot to fire us out of the South Point studio.
That's a good point. Somebody does kind of have their name on the
it
side.
Doesn't take a lot. I could get fired easily. He doesn't like me, but he likes. I mean, that's a known fact right there. Me, he loves to fire me. That's one of his favorite pastimes.
Blood's thicker than water, though.
Yeah, no, not for him.
Yeah.
He loves it when when he fired us the last time. He took great homage in it.
He fired you?
Yeah, he's fired Mikey a couple times, me once.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean.
And Jimmy Vaccaro?
He retired me.
Jimmy gets to quit every year, right? And come back.
Jimmy didn't quit this year. He made it all the way through.
He made it all the way through?
He's so far, he's still
What's
here.
he going to do with himself here during the summer?
Wear a white sweatshirt and stay around.
Okay, let's move along. Group F. Todd Gilliland, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., plus 265. AJ Allmendinger and Justin Haley, plus 270.
Not a lot of squeeze here to separate, right? It's 65 and 70. But there's just two stats I can give you, Jeff. Justin Haley is the 9th best point getter. 6 races, 2 top 10s, average finish 13.3. The Dinger only has 2 races, but one of them is a top 5 finish and an average finish of 9.5. So the Dinger only has 2 data points in the Cup Series here. and has done pretty darn well, 16th and third. But Haley consistently, the other two, Todd Gillen and Ricky, way down in the stat list. So that I can give you the Dinger or Haley. They're both the dogs. Those are my two favorites there.
But when you only have 6 races and you're looking at guys that are at the bottom end of the spectrum, is 6 enough data points? I mean, I understand the guys at the top, but a lot of times at the bottom, you either get caught up in an accident.
It doesn't matter if you're getting caught up in that. Look
common denominator,
look
right?
At what happened last week in the Kyle Busch got a pit road penalty, he got a penalty on pit road from the crew jumping early, and then right when they came back out, wreck right in front of him, got a piece of it, and took him out of the race. Why? Because he had a pit road penalty. So it doesn't matter that if you have bad races, it's because you've been in the wrong places.
Well, you're right. You put yourself in position to succeed, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at our manufacturer props. Very similar to what we saw last week. Chevrolet is the favorite at plus 135 and Ford at plus 140, and Toyota, a big long shot at plus 300. Now, both of us picked Toyota because of that big number last week.
And last week, though, they qualified so well. They raced so well on the duels. Everything looked great.
And Denny probably looked like the guy to win the race at the end, too.
So, I mean, but this week, I am staying away from the manufacturer prop. 135, 140. Not enough, juice there for me to bet it when I got some other bets that I really like, that I feel better about because I can't pick and choose between the Chevys and the Fords here. So I'm going to stay away from the manufacturer.
Yep, I'm with you. Not going to touch the manufacturer this week at all. All right, we got a little bit of time this week, so let's talk about our championship odds. We'll run down through those. We really didn't see a lot of movement from last week. We knew we wouldn't unless there was a giant.
John Hunter Nemechek, went from one to the other.
Unless there was a giant upset. But so just taking a look at the odds, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and William Byron are all plus 600 as the favorites. Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin are plus 800. Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick are 10-1. Logano's 15-1. Briscoe and Gibbs at 20-1. Keselowski, Kyle Busch 25. Buescher, Chastain at 30. Bubba 40. Cindric, Berry, Gregson all at 100. Herbst at 200, and the field is 30. Anybody have a great number out there that you look at and say, I ought to jump in on that right now?
Where are these odds from? Are these? They're South Point? Those are South Point odds? Well, I was going to say, I think they're South Point odds because South Point, we got to put up an odd for Riley Herbst. That's just kind of, I dig it. I love it. Look, I look at this and I say, we didn't get to talk about it last week, right? We normally talk a little more, but we didn't. This is how you hedge your bet. Last week, you caught a break. William Byron was plus 900 to start the season. He's plus 600 now. You didn't lose a lot of value there with William Byron. You knew he was going to be one of the favorites. But if you think that Kyle Busch is going to have a comeback year, 25-1, now's the time to bet him. Chase Elliott, double digit. My favorite right there is Tyler Reddick, double digit, 10-1. I still think Reddick is a favorite to win this championship with his breadth of work since he's been at 23-11. Unless the lawsuit really starts weighing on them, which it doesn't seem to be. It did at the end of last year. I think the injunction has helped them. I really like
nothing's going to happen before December now.
No.
So that really shouldn't play into it. So
I think I love that. And I also love, you and I both are high on Chase Briscoe, 20-1. If Chase comes out and has the year we think he can have, I think Briscoe 20-1 could be one heck of a choice.
I agree with you definitely on the Briscoe, obviously, because I picked him as a breakout driver. Yep. I think 20-1 on Briscoe. And our defending champion is 15-1. And look, we have seen how when it gets late,
defending champ Penske's won the last 3 championships, and you have Joey Logano at 15-1.
I mean,
this is how you hedge, folks. You take it now.
Penske has learned how to massage the season to prepare themselves for the playoffs, and they've been really strong. All right,
let's get into what I want to talk about now.
Yes, last week. Now,
all of us want to talk about.
While I'm in last place, I'm not unhappy about being in last place because I think when you get out of Daytona and you're in the positive, everyone should feel good about it. We'll start with our pit crew because they are in first place right now. They had 2 group wins with Ryan Blaney in Group A and Tyler Reddick in Group E.
Good wins too. Good solid ones.
Good solid wins. Now you only had 1 win, but you picked
a big one.
You picked a top 3 Tyler Reddick, which was huge for you. The Red Sea parted for you there at the end of the race. So I'll give you that.
Never a doubt, baby. Never a doubt.
And then I had a couple of picks of my own, both on William Byron. I had William Byron in his head-to-head with Chris Buescher, and then had William Byron winning Group B. And when you win the race, it's pretty much a given. You're going to win everything else that's out
go.
there. So
No, and good start. I mean, plus 4.3 units for the pit crew to start, 3.5 for me, 2.7 for you. So we're all starting above your Mendoza lines.
yeah, let me tell you, if
I am way below my Mendoza line, but it's only one race.
let me tell you, if I could get 2.7 every week, now I know that would not equal where you were last year, but
just saying.
I'm telling you that ain't going to happen again.
Well, again, another thing that doesn't play on Sirius. You got to we're funny looking guys. You got to at least watch us sometimes. I mean, we're pretty funny looking. We sound funny, but we're funnier
There's
looking.
a lot of funny business going on here. But, yeah, that's for another day.
Professional, unprofessional.
Exactly.
We go worst to first. Guess what that means?
Guess who's picking first?
There you go.
It's me. I'm fine with picking
Rock
first.
and roll.
I'm going to ride my man until my man drives me off a cliff. I'm on William
Willie B.
Byron. I'm
There you
on
go.
Willie B. I'm taking him to win.
Ooh.
Going back to back at 20-1. I don't think last year was a fluke. I'm going to go Kyle Busch for a top 3.
Okay.
I know you're probably going to lean Suarez there, but I just think Kyle Busch. I think there's going to be a new some fire there in Kyle Busch. I like him for top 3.
I do not disagree.
And then my other 3 picks are all going to be in the groups. I'm going to take Ryan Blaney in Group A because I just think plus 245 on the guy who's the best driver, most successful driver at this track.
Can't knock it.
Even though he hasn't won. But
Can't knock it.
still, Group B, I'm going to go with my man Willie B, and I am going to go with the Ross Chastain pick in Group D.
I do not dislike any of your picks this week. I'm not on any of them, but I don't dislike them. Mine, since I am picking second, which I don't know, has it been like a year or so since the pit crew didn't pick first?
I wouldn't say a full year because I don't think you led from flag to flag last year.
I did not, but
So
close.
I know this is foreign territory for you, and it's a struggle.
It's a struggle for me to pick second, but I'll pick second. I am starting off. You called me out, Jeff. Daniel Suarez top 3 at plus 500. I got 2 top 3s. I got Daniel Suarez because I just can't leave that out there, and I've also got Willie B. I'm going to jump on your Willie B bandwagon at plus 400 for a top 3. Those are picks that I just can't leave out there. I'm getting one head-to-head. I am going to take the head-to-head I talked so much about, the Kyle Busch plus 105 versus Joey Logano. I feel that there is a fire under Kyle, and I do think that he's going to bring home that. All he's got to do is beat one guy. And then I got 2 head-to-heads. The ones I talked about. Austin Cindric. I'll go head-to-head. Did you pick Group B? No, you didn't pick Group B this time.
You're going groups here, not
Yeah, I know.
heads. Okay.
But I mean, did you pick a Group B?
Yeah, I think I took Byron in Group B.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go head-to-head with you.
Oh, head-to-head with me.
Head-to-head with you.
Oh, I don't head-to-head. I thought you had drivers going head-to-head.
Nope. I've got Austin Cindric in Group B, and then Group C, I got Chase Elliott. So I'm going to take B and C there. I got Cindric and Chase Elliott in Group C, which is my lock in that one. And that says me.
All right.
Let's say the pit crew.
Pit crew picks this week. They love that plus 300 on Denny Hamlin. So they're going Denny Hamlin plus 300. They've got Seabell in Group B. So how about that? Between the 3 of us,
We
different
got
picks
we got
in Group B.
Man. You know what that means? It means that who's the 4th pick in Group B?
That's who's probably going to win it.
Yeah,
I'm not
Brad
sure.
Keselowski's going to win Group B.
Congratulations,
Wyatt
Brad.
would love that, by the way. Old producer Wyatt.
Yep.
Wyatt would be very
Congratulations,
happy.
Brad. He's off doing UNLV women's basketball or something now. So, anyway, Christopher Bell in Group B. They're going. They agree with you. They're going Chase Elliott in Group C. I'm not in Group C, so there was no kiss of death on that. They're going Tyler Reddick in Group D. They're jumping in on the Toyotas now. That's 3 out of 4 Toyota picks there, and they're going with you, Daniel Suarez for a top 3. Big pick there.
I don't dislike it.
If you guys get that, then I'll be looking up at you for.
Look, and little Vinny back there, give me the eyebrow, like, oh yeah, I got this. I think that might have been his pick, maybe even. I don't know. Pick crew all joined in.
Oh, see, now we got the beak. He doesn't even want to let the secret out of the bag back there.
That's right.
So, all right, we got like 40 seconds left. Atlanta, you haven't raced on. This is like one of the few places we go that you haven't actually raced on this configuration.
I loved the old surface. I am glad I'm retired, but this is one that I love to sit back on my couch and watch this one because one of the most exciting races. Marcus Smith, super proud of you. Kudos having the guts to try to do what you did. And I think it's worked amazingly.
Well, Atlanta, it's got a great group down in Atlanta. Obviously that's one of our sister tracks. Love the folks down in Atlanta. Hopefully they'll have a great weekend. Weather looks nice. It's going to be a little bit cool.
Wear a jacket.
It's going to be a little
brisk,
cool,
baby,
but the
brisk.
sun is going to be out, so it's going to be nice. So everybody tuned in this week. Watch Atlanta. We'll be back next week. We'll break down Atlanta and talk about all things COTA and Austin.